How's it going, everybody? It's Dino again on Away Day Sports. Hope you're all well. This is part two of my more than delayed um, Premier League ratings and fans' percentages of how happy they were with their season for their respective clubs. This, like I said, is part two, so this is now going from 10th to first. Obviously, part one we was dealing from 20th place to 11th, so that was going from Southampton up to Crystal Palace. I'm now gonna go now with going from 10th up to obviously to the champions. So I'm gonna start off with Brentford. Um, I've given Brentford a C plus. And their I've given two players this season in Bremo and in Wissa. I thought them two were both brilliant. Um, this season, especially the fact that they both stepped up after Ivan Toney had left, so there might have been a bit of a thing of who's going to score the goals, who's going to step up and take the mantle. But they both played very, very well in the season just gone. At this moment in time, there is a thing going with in Bremer now being linked to leaving Brentford, and obviously Thomas Franks is now left, and he's now taken the helm at Tottenham. Brentford fans were actually very, very satisfied with the season. 73% were satisfied with the season, with 26% satisfied, and no one was dissatisfied, basically. So it was a good season for Brentford, I have to say. They've solidified themselves as a Premiership club, and but with certain players now on the move, are they going to be able to have that same force again? We don't know, but they've had a good season. They've done very well since they've been promoted to the Premiership. So moving on, we move on to Fulham. Gave Fulham the same thing again. Gave them a C plus. Anthony Robertson, I gave him the Player of the Year for them. Their fans, 70% of the fans was very satisfied. Was 73% satisfied. 9.5 were dissatisfied, and no one was very dissatisfied. Again, Fulham, had a good season. They were one of those groups of teams which, they can give anyone on their day a problem. The likes of Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Palace, Villa, Wolves, that them group of core teams there can always cause you problems. And Fulham, they done well with what they did. Again, I think they're going to be all right again next season, I think, as well. So I've seen what the fans have had to say as well. I can see why. They got Smith Rowe from Arsenal, and he settled in quite well as well. So long may it continue for the Cottagers. Moving on, we go down to the South Coast, Bournemouth. I straight out gave Bournemouth an A, because if I recall, I gave them. I predicted them finishing in the bottom half of the table of the season, and I've had to eat my words of them, especially the fact that they came to the Emirates and beat Arsenal as well. Justin Kluivert, Player of the Year. I'd his father when I was a kid. Patrick Kluivert, great striker, and his son is following his footsteps as well. Bournemouth had a pretty good season, had a solid season. They went to, I think they went to Old Trafford again and beat Man United as well. And they finished well. You can't really dispute it. 52% of the fans were very satisfied with the season, with 45% satisfied, 1.9 dissatisfied, and then again, no one was very dissatisfied. So I think Bournemouth will have another good season again. I think they're going to be the team that's going to be finishing probably in between maybe 7th and 10th. So I think they're going to be in that group again of teams that are going to be there. But I think after that, they may want to then move on to the next level and see if they can get into Europe. So good luck to Bournemouth next season. Aston Villa. I gave Aston Villa a B minus, and Yuri Tillemans for me was their Player of the Year, but there were a couple of others in the team who played quite well as well. I've got a couple of people I know are Villa fans, and they'll probably tell me, Tillemans is good, but there were a couple of others as well who also done quite well. Again with Villa, their fans, 49% of their fans were satisfied. 49% were also satisfied, with 1.5 dissatisfied, and 0.3% were very, very dissatisfied. So Aston Villa. I think I kind of predicted Aston Villa would finish where they would finish because they were in Europe, and the depth of the squad may have taken its toll in regards to the Champions League and everything. But they had a good season. They done well, especially in the Champions League. I mean, they were very unlucky against Paris Saint-Germain. Um, I said it straight that if that game had gone on for another 10, 15 minutes, I think they would have won it. I think they're going to have another good, strong, solid season again next season. So again, well done to Aston Villa. See you again next season. Forest, I gave them an A minus. Gave them an A minus. Chris Wood and Morgan Gibbs White, I gave them the Player of the Year, but I know Sales as well in goal for them was another good performance from him. Forest, 96% of their fans were very satisfied, with 3.5 satisfied, and 0.2 and 0.3% were dissatisfied, respectively. I mean, Forest, they could have gone into the Champions League. They're very close to doing it. They lost out to Chelsea in the last game of the season. But in all fairness, their last 3 or 4 games, they kind of showed the way a bit. But regardless, they still had a decent season. At one point, they were pushing Arsenal when Arsenal was second, they were third, and but I think they've got a good team, and I think they'll be all right again next season. I don't think they're going to finish as high, but I still believe that they're going to have a good season if they keep their key players. If they can add a couple more, then I think they'll be more than fine for next season. Chelsea. I gave Chelsea a B minus, and Caicedo, I gave them their Player of the Year. Chelsea, they were a bit up and down in regards to how the season went. I think obviously they've got some good players in the team as well, but I think Chelsea is still trying to. I think they're still in general trying to find their identity in regards to who their players are. That being said, they didn't have to play too many of their key players when they picked their European squad, because the Conference League, I did say at the start of the season I should have put a bet on them winning the whole thing, because the conference is just not that good. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and Chelsea did that. So can't really complain about it. Even though if it's a second or third rate cup, they still won it. So you have to hold your hands up and say it. That being said, 2.8 of their fans were very satisfied with the season, with 52% satisfied, 40% were dissatisfied, and 5% were very dissatisfied. So it tells you from the fans a mixture of how the fans felt in regards to Chelsea. This season just finished. It's telling you that some fans are saying it was good, but other fans are saying they're good, but they should have done better. The jury's still out on Chelsea for me in that regard. That being said, for next season, I do believe they'll finish again around about in the top 5 again. They've got some talent in the team. Cole Palmer wasn't as he was still a threat this season, but he wasn't too much of a threat, if that makes sense, as much as what he was the season before. But I still think Chelsea, you've got a team which can push. Newcastle. I gave Newcastle a B plus. On the sole basis of the fact that I really thought they could have actually possibly finished third, but then they kind of 12th away as well. But I think after them, they were going to be in the Champions League anyway. Isaac, I gave Isaac the Player of the Year, but I will give some flowers to Tonali and to Anthony Gordon as well. And their defense has always been a rock, and their work rate is very, very good. Newcastle got a very, very good team going on there, and I think they can only, for me anyway, I think they can only get better. there's been word that Isaac could be leaving, but then I don't think I don't think he's going to leave this season. I think he's going to be there for another year, maybe two pushing. But I think Newcastle have got something going on there, and I think they're going to be real. I think they're going to be a bit of a force again next season. They're going to be up there again. They're going to be there to stay. So whether you like it or not, they're going to be there. That being said, with their fans, 96% of their fans are very satisfied, with 3.5% satisfied, 0.2 and 0.3 were dissatisfied and very dissatisfied. I don't know why, but you finished fourth and you won a cup, and you've got a very, very good team going on there. So, but I think they're going to be there next season. I think they're going to be in the top. Again, I think like Chelsea as well. They're going to be in the top five. Only difference is I think they've found their identity, but I think they're going to build on it more. So I think between them and Chelsea, they're going to both be in the top five again next season, in my view. Manchester City. I gave them a C. And their player of the year was Kevin De Bruyne. And it's quite fitting that I give him the player of the year, considering that he's now left the club. As we speak right now, they're in the World Club Championship, and obviously he's left. And Kevin De Bruyne has been one of my favourite players in the last few years. Whether he's playing for Belgium or playing for Man City, he's been a joy to watch. He's been a great ambassador to the league. This is someone who came into the league playing for Chelsea first and didn't quite work out, left, came back, and now he's turned himself into a City legend. I think he's definitely up there now for one of those players which is going to be remembered for years to come when it comes to the Premiership. That's him individually. Man City as a team, however, considering what they've done a couple of years ago, well below their expectations this season. Just you win the treble, and then you a couple of years later you win nothing, and sometimes you reach that peak of the tower and you think, what can you do next? And they've kind of gone down a bit, and the team is now getting older, so we don't know what Man City is going to be. But I do think that they're going to be up there again, just like I was saying about City and Chelsea. They're going to, like Newcastle and Chelsea, they're going to be up there again. They've already brought in a few players for next season. They've brought in, I think, 3 players already next season, and they're currently playing the World Club Cup. So they are getting that chemistry together with the players that they've got. It wouldn't surprise me if they're going to be challenging for the title. They're going to be out there again, so you have to keep a lookout for them. I think they're going to be the silent team that's going to go out and probably cause a problem for a lot of teams next season. But time will tell. We'll see how they go. Kevin De Bruyne, wherever you go next season, wish you the best of luck. Kind of wish that he came to Arsenal, but no, it's not going to happen. There you go. 1.6 of their fans were very satisfied. 23% were satisfied, 58% were dissatisfied, and 15.7% of Man City's fans were very dissatisfied with the season that has just finished. So again, by their standards, you can see why everyone was dissatisfied. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because these are my boys. Arsenal. Again, I gave him a C. Player of the season for me was Declan Rice. And not just because of the goals that he scored against Real Madrid, but because he was probably the most consistent out of all the players that are playing. He saved us some points. Again, I'll give my flowers out to David Raya as well, because he was joint. He was joint with the clean sheets this season, got in the Golden Glove, for the preseason for the season gone. Like I said, I'm not going to go into delve into it too much. This is something that I want to do with a couple of Arsenal fans and friends of mine in regards to how Arsenal have been and where they're going, especially with the transfer system and everything like that. But with how Arsenal were this season, it was how can I put it? It was a good season, but it wasn't a successful one, is what I'd like it to have been. I would have liked us obviously to have done a little better in terms of them being more clinical to win the league. I would have liked them to have shown a bit more in the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain, because I truly believe that if we got to the final, I think we would have probably won it. Because Inter Milan have just not been, they've not really been at the races too tough in the last couple of months of the season. But at the same time, I can flip the coin and say that there's a lot of promise there of the team. However, we need to have new additions come into into the side, especially a striker. I would like to see Sesko come in or Gyökeres come in. I'd love to see Eze come and join the team. I'd love to see either Nico Williams or Rodrigo join the team. Why not? These are the type of players that we should be going for and to push us forward to where we want to be. And as I'm talking, we haven't done nothing so far in the season, especially when the gaffer's come out and said that he was excited for the summer, for the summer, but nothing's really excited the Arsenal fans or supporters. So it's been a bit of a crap show right now, this summer. But there's still time to go. I believe the World Club Cup is kind of put us all in a thing where, because there's teams playing, it's kind of rushing things. But so we don't really want to delve too much into the fact that Arsenal haven't bought no one yet. But I do believe in the next few days or so that we may have a couple of players in. So I think Zubimendi's the one which is on the verge. We've also been into with Kepa as a backup goalkeeper. So I think them guys are going to come in, and then obviously we've got to then put in a bid for a striker, whether it's Gyökeres or Sesko. If it's one of them two, then that's what we've got. Let's also got to push it. They've got to be more clinical. That being said, of the fans, of my fellow Arsenal fans, 5% were very satisfied with the season. 53% were satisfied with the season, and I'd have to go with that one. 37% were very dissatisfied, and 4% were very dissatisfied. So I'm on the cusp in between satisfied and dissatisfied. I'm kind of in the middle there, because it was good that we done, but we could have done better. It's kind of like when you was back in school and you go for parents' evening, and the teachers would always tell you, yeah, you're doing well, but there's room for improvement. And this is exactly what Arsenal is. There's so much room for improvement, but again, there's so much potential. And we've all seen that in the last 3 seasons of Arsenal finishing second. There's so much potential there in regards to what they can do. Whether they can go one step further next season, time will tell. But it does come down to the next month or so in regards to who Arsenal brings in terms of acquisitions and what tactics we've got in terms of who we can bring in and how the manager just sorts things out. So we'll see. We're going to have to go with Arsenal anyway. And last but not least, we go to champions. Liverpool, congratulations, win the title. I gave you an A+, because you won the league. And Gravenberch and Salah I gave as the player of the years, but I mean, you could have picked anybody. To be perfectly honest, I mean, as a team, the chemistry was there. So really and truly, you can't really give Liverpool a player of the year. But I will give it to Salah, because Salah's just a guy. Whether he's still got it in the tank for another couple of years, who knows? Because I believe Salah's 33 now. So we'll see if he's still got that in the tank for another couple of years. We'll see. But they are the team to beat. They've bought in a couple of players already, which I'm very jealous of. They bought Florian Wirtz recently. They recently bought in Florian Wirtz. And they bought in, I can't remember the other guy's name, the right back from Leverkusen as well. So they've just had a bid. They've bidded for Kirkes as well from Bournemouth, I believe, and I think Kwanzaa's going to Leverkusen, I think, or somewhere along those lines. So Liverpool are very, very active in the transfer market right now. They know that other teams are going to be after them, so they've just upgraded. And this is what I'm talking about with Arsenal. They should be doing the exact same thing, but time will tell. So with Liverpool, 89% of the fans were very satisfied. 10.5% were satisfied, with 0.3 dissatisfied, and 0.2 were very dissatisfied. And I'm still trying to figure out why. I don't know if it's because of the Champions League or not. I don't know, but Liverpool, they won the league, and deservedly so. That's the team that everyone's going to be looking to be next season. This is the team that Arsenal have to look at now, and like, from an Arsenal perspective, we have to go out and take on. But this is the Premiership. This is the Premiership, and we'll see how it goes in regards to that. So I'm hoping that we can see Arsenal win it next season. In regards to the teams that have come up, I don't know how they're going to do, but obviously Leeds, Burnley, and who else came up? I can't remember who came up. Who came up last season? I have to check that now. So yeah, Leeds. Let's have a look. I completely forgot. Just completely dropped out of my head. Anyway, yeah. So Leeds, Burnley. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna give you. I was just gonna come to this. I'm just gonna give it to you. Sunderland. Jeez, how can I forget that one? So between those three teams, yeah, it's going to be a tough season for them three. Leeds and Burnley. Let's see if they've learnt their lesson. Sunderland, they've not. This is the first time Sunderland have been back in the Premiership. I think for just over 10 years now. I think now. So it's going to be good to actually see a time where Derby again, because those games are always good to watch. I know that Joe Bellingham left. Well, he was on loan at Sunderland, and now he's now gone to Germany to Dortmund. So he's following his brother's footsteps now, evidently. With those three teams coming up, they're going to find it tough, I think. If anything, I think at least one of them will go down. Will go get relegated, I think. But again, it just depends on who you buy and who you bring in. If you're not careful, you're just going to get punished. But next season, it should be a good season. I hope you guys enjoyed my ratings and my player of the season for each club, and giving out the fans how happy they were as well. We'll see how everyone else does. I'm going to do my prediction at some point later on in the summer in regards to Premiership predictions, in regards to where I think everyone's going to finish. I'm going to probably do that probably in the next month or so. I'll probably wait till the tennis passes through, and when it gets to, I'll wait to see how everyone's doing in regards to transfers. So I'll probably get to the end of July. I'll probably do my predictions in regards to the Premiership, and then as time goes on, I'm going to do one where I might go out and speak to others in regards to who I think is going to finish in the top four, who I think is going to be a top scorer, and who's going to be the biggest overachievers and underachievers, and who's going to win the Champions League and everything like that. So I'm going to do that with people. I might go public with it as well, or I might ask you guys to do it in the comments, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on TikTok. So do keep a lookout for that. But in the meantime, hope you guys enjoyed my ratings and my grades. Do let me know what you think in the comments, of what you think of them, if you would have graded anyone any differently. I will see you guys in the next one. The Club World Cup I've not really spoken too much about. If I'm being honest, I haven't really been watching it too tough. I've only watched a couple of games properly. But I know I've been dabbling into it a bit. So I know there's a couple of games on tonight, so I'm going to watch it tonight. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for reading out for me. Thank you for all your support. Please tell everyone about it as well. I really want this to blow out, and for everyone to watch and see. So yeah, do send out to all your football fans out there, and all your NFL fans as well, because I'm going to be doing some NFL fan stuff too. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. See you guys on TikTok, and see you guys on YouTube. Take it easy.